side hustles and the early stage of your business is so important. And it's less about the money, but it's more about the beliefs that you begin to adopt. You know, in starting a side hustle, you're not necessarily gonna instantly make enough money to retire your parents and buy a mama house or whatever. But being at this early stage of business, you are going through such an important part of your journey. In developing this business, you're challenging the perception that your job or your 9 to 5 is all that you have. And so with a side hustle in this early stage of business, you can really transform your mindset. So say you have a client paying you, let's say $100 a month, or maybe you sold 20 products and you made, let's say, £200 in a given month. And if you've never actually made the money through the internet before, if you've never made your first dollar over Wi-Fi, then this might be a completely foreign concept to you. But now you suddenly have extra money to pay the bills. You have extra money to contribute to the rent. And this money is weird because you've almost pulled it out of thin air. In developing a side hustle and earning your first bit of money online, you start to realize that the seed, the potential for a future that once seemed quite vague and mystical, is actually now more within your reach. When I was 15 and I made my first bit of money on the internet, it was a serious game changer for me. It was a serious mindset shift. And it wasn't anything crazy. I was literally selling hand sanitizers on eBay. Again, this was during the I don't know if I can say it on YouTube nowadays, but the period of great disease in 2020. And I made like peanuts. I was getting like 10p in profit per sanitizer that I was selling. And I sold maybe about 20 or 30 because I was really undercutting the competition. I was really listing them pretty cheap so that I could just get some sales in. But it was the fact that I identified a gap. I identified an opportunity, and I didn't make much money. And again, it isn't about the money, it's about the belief. I made money through my mind. I pulled that money from thin air in a way. Like, it was there, the money was in existence, it was floating in the ether of the universe, and I thought about it. I decided to take action and I pulled it out of thin air. And so again, in starting the side hustle, in making your first dollar online, you start to realize that you are that asset, that organ that you have in between your ears. Your brain is the asset. You are what dictates your income. You are what dictates your net worth, not your job, not your boss, or not your career. You might be in a high paying job, you might be making decent money in your career, in your 9 to 5. And of course, as I was saying, the side hustle or early stage of business is not about the money at all. You're going to be making peanuts if you're lucky. You know, a lot of people don't make any money for a long time when they first start. But again, less about the money, more about the belief system that you start to adopt. But this is where stuff starts to get really exciting, because this is the foundation that we want to actually be able to build something real. Earning your first bit of money on the internet is where the magic starts to really happen, because now hopefully you're building your investments, you're building your pot up. Your career and your investments, they give you the stability, they give you the ability to then take on further risk in developing your side hustle. And now potentially you have a bit of secondary income from the actual business, which is just further developing your perspective on money and entrepreneurship itself. With this side hustle, you are crushing any limiting beliefs that you may feel have been upon you, because you are proving to yourself that making money online is actually possible. It's not vague, it's not mystical, and anyone can do it. Entrepreneurship is not just a lofty, far off goal that gets glazed by influencers. In making this first dollar, you realize that you can actually do anything. If you really think about it, you can do anything. You have made this first bit of money from the flipping ether over Wi-Fi. That's you. You did that. And you can use these newfound beliefs. You can cut out the noise. You can now allow yourself to delve further into entrepreneurship, as I guess you have some sort of proof of concept now. Again, you cut out the noise. You can seek out like-minded people and community, and you can really start to think about building that high cash flow business. And again, this all came from you. It came from your brain.